Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of It's My Life. In this episode, I'm going to talk about more of the contemporary issues of interest, less of autobiographical contents. So let me start by saying that there are 5 points that I'm going to talk about in this particular episode. The first one that I'm going to talk about today is some of the technical improvements that I have aimed to achieve in this video cast. You have seen the episode 1 and episode 2. I was shooting those episodes using my iPhone, and iPhone's the selfie camera of the iPhone. And the selfie camera has its own limitation in terms of the resolution and the capabilities, so on and so forth. But if you look at the back camera of the iPhone, it has got far superior capability. So it can shoot at 4K video at 120 frames per second. So it has got better capability. So my intention was to use the back camera of iPhone, but I didn't have the accessories to use that particular part of that camera, the back camera. So I had to wait for the accessories. And same, I noticed that in the episode 1 and 2. The audio was not bright enough, it was not loud enough, or it didn't have the right level for comfortable listening. So I had to get myself a set of microphone, and I'm using it right now. As you can see, the one here. I'm of course using this lapel microphone here that you can see. It's a tiny one. It's pretty advanced, came out in the market few weeks ago. It has the capability of removing noise around. It has got AI capability to remove the noise. But anyway, the long and short of it is that I've tried to improve the video quality. I hope this episode looks, sounds better to you. So if it does, let me know. I've also improved the lighting. I'm literally shooting in my living room here. And there's not much of a noise, so noise reduction I haven't enabled in my microphone, but it still should sound good. But let me know your opinion. So as I mentioned to you, the very first episode, that the first one, second one, and every subsequent episodes of this particular video cast should have a better quality of audio and video. And I hope I've been able to keep my words by bringing a slightly improved quality of video and audio in the episode 3. The second point I want to talk about today is a friend of mine the other day told me, he said, why is this that your video casts are in English? Because his view is that the words from your heart comes out best in your mother tongue. That's a very strong point. I mean, nobody can refute this particular point. That's true. As a matter of fact, I could have done that, or I could have done in one of the 4 or 5 languages that I can read, write, and speak. All of these possibilities were there, but I specifically chose in English for the simple reason is that English is the lingua franca. The most part of the world understands English. Many of my friends are English speaking, or at least they have good understanding of English, although their mother tongue may not be English. So I decided to record the entire, all the episodes or this video cast in English. I hope I have made this clear, but the point is, English is the lingua franca, as you have, I'm just repeating myself. The reason is that in this particular word was coined many years ago as a part of a different conversation, but I'm saying lingua franca, meaning that it's a widely acceptable language. People generally understand English. Every country has English language as one of their languages they educate their kids in. So there you go. That was the main reason for which I decided to record the entire video cast in English. The third point is about the US tariff. Now, it can't escape your attention. You have been watching it on television, you have been watching it on the social media, you have been watching it on every front, that there is a huge tariff drama is playing out in public domain. And of course, it has got implication in every possible way on the life of the ordinary people. Let me give you my perspective as a bystander view. As far back I can go, or as long as I have been following the geopolitical situations around the world. By the way, I come from a family where people are extremely politically conscious. They are not active participants in politics, but they're politically very conscious. As far back I can recollect, US had always some sort of a sanction on India. Now, what does it mean? That means US wants India to do certain things. US doesn't want India not to do certain things. And that the message was always given to India way back, and I'm talking about 30, 40 years ago. Now, what defies logic, or at least I don't get it, and even today, is that why is that one country can tell another sovereign country what you can do, what you can't do? I don't understand. And why is it that the other country should be listened to that? I mean, I understand there may be some either political compulsions of some sort, some business compulsions, or some compulsions may be there. But it has always been the case that US had always some sort of a sanction on India. And I'll give you examples from my own life. This second job after I graduated from my engineering college, I worked for a public sector organization under government of Assam. And in that, there was a R&D laboratory of which I was one of the engineers. There were 4 engineers in total. The 3 of they're very good friends of mine even today. So we were 4 young engineers. We were working in an R&D lab, and the R&D lab required a lot of test and measuring equipment. Because we were developing some SCADA equipment for tea processing, and during for the test and measuring equipment that we needed for our laboratory, one of those equipment was an oscilloscope. It's a very high-end oscilloscope. It's manufactured by Hewlett-Packard of US, and this specific oscilloscope that we wanted has got 1 gigasamples per second capability. Now, the interesting thing is that India couldn't buy that particular oscilloscope from US. So Hewlett-Packard, the manufacturer of this oscilloscope, had to have an approval from the US Department of State to be able to export this oscilloscope to India. Why? Because that particular oscilloscope is capable of being used in nuclear instrumentation. And India was not supposed to develop anything nuclear. No research, no development of any sort. US had put an embargo on India. Period. Anyway, the long and short of it is we finally managed to import it, but the US, that embargo continued. The second, of which I was kind of partly involved, India is an agriculture-based country, as you know. Its economy largely depends on agriculture. So it's very important for the government to provide a forecast on weather, the flood, and that kind of stuff, so that our farmers can plan their crops accordingly. So for the meteorological purposes, India needed a supercomputer, and the chosen model was a model called Cray XMP. Cray is the name of the company who manufactures those supercomputers, and XMP is this particular model. Now, India wanted this particular supercomputer from US. US said no. Why? Again, that this supercomputer is capable of being used for designing nuclear reactors and so on and so forth. US never allowed Cray to export a supercomputer to India. So what India did, that's the interesting part, of which I was a bystander. I was not directly involved, but I saw unfolding this in front of my eyes. So India built a department of electronics. It's called CDAC, Center for Development of Advanced Computing. And they designed and built a supercomputer of their own. So they used the SGS Thomson transputers. Transputers are basically a microprocessor with 4 arms. and you can connect to each arm another transmitter. So likewise, you can build a massive network of transmitters to have enormous computing capability. So India built that supercomputer. They named it Param, P-A-R-A-M. And when I was a government officer back in Delhi, way back, I was working in a laboratory called Microprocessor Application Engineering Program, MAP. And next to that particular laboratory was the CDEX laboratory, where Param was installed for a lot of computational work that they needed, including CFDs and so on and so forth. And I used to have my friends and colleagues there, and sometimes I used to walk into their laboratory and to see this supercomputer, and I used to get amazed. I said, wow, this is nice, that India is so capable to do so many things, great things. So back to the story, that those sanctions, India somehow managed to get around, get through, and India is very capable of doing it. So all this 50% and 64% tariff that you are hearing on the news and social media, I think this is a fantastic opportunity for India to diverse their market, do business differently, come up with creative ideas, and essentially completely mitigate the risk of all this tariff that the US administration thinks that they can impose on India and get away with, or cripple India in some form. So that's my bystander's view. I hope I have made my point clear, but essentially what I'm saying is that I still feel that the imposition of some sanctions, some tariff by one country on the other, it's very short-sighted. It's completely irrelevant, or doesn't. If you think that that's the way you are going to rule the world, good luck. It's not going to happen. And India these days, with new administration, has a lot of capability. They're literally bringing up stuff that, it's essentially empowering people to come up with creative ideas, and that can turn the business upside down. There are startups in India who are doing stuff that unthinkable 10, 15, 20 years ago. So it's a different world. Tariffs and sanctions, I don't know what place does it have, or will it have ever. It may be a temporary ripple or temporary noise, I would say, but I hope things get better. That's my view, and I'm a diehard optimistic, as you know. The fourth point I want to talk about, fourth and fifth point are essentially very private, but I'll tell you nonetheless. On the Janmashtami day, you might have heard in episode 2 that I had to go to one of the celebrations of one of my sister's home in my next suburb. And I was late because I was watching the play hosted by my friend, as I mentioned in episode 2. Once I got there, essentially all the rituals, so far as the Janmashtami is concerned, was all done. And there was a musical soiree after that. So when I arrived there, actually musical soiree was going on, and there are some people who were singing. Not some people. There's one particular artist was singing. She's a very, very professionally acclaimed person. She was singing. So and there are a couple more singers that followed after it. So once I arrived there, I was asked to sing two songs, and I sang one. It's a Vedic hymn that I sang. And the second one, I sang Rabindra Sangeet. And this was kind of a Janmashtami celebration, so I thought, singing a Vedic hymn would be very relevant for this. So I sang this Vedic hymn. One of our family friends actually recorded while I was singing. And she sent both the recordings to me. And I listened to both the videos, both the songs of my own the following day. The first one was okay. The second one, I sounded terrible. It was so sad to say that it sounded terrible. Literally, I mean it. It sounded very terrible to me. And I listened to it a few times, and I said, why do I sound like this? Then I realized that it was because of, when I was singing, a lot of people are sitting in the room, right? And I mean, in distant corner, the room was reasonably large, and people are sitting all over the place. Some people are sitting in the distant corners. So the people sitting in the distant corners were, chatting among themselves. So there's a murmuring going on in the room. And while I was singing, it was playing in my mind that these guys are murmuring. So I was trying to raise my voice higher above the murmuring level in the room. And in the process, I was trying to compensate for my audio level or the voice level. And I completely ruined it, totally ruined it. And I sounded terrible. And I said, no, okay, if this is how I sound in a public event, I need to think about my strategy. How do I sing? So I found it, what can I say? I just didn't feel good about it, to be honest. When I sing, I, I need to feel good about that. I mean, it should sound good. And I need to be happy. I have no caliber as a singer. I have no training and no education in singing. I sing for my own happiness. But when I do, it should sound good. It should feel good. And if it doesn't, then I get upset. And reasonably so, because you want to sing well. I do sing. Music has always been part of my life. I've been humming. I'll be humming something or otherwise every time. Even if I'm working in the office or at home or doing something, I'll be humming a song. So I never learned to live without music. So music is an integral part. So when I sing something, it has to sound good. And if it doesn't, then I get upset. So in this particular case, I have to think about it. And how do I sing next time if I'm asked to sing in a public place? I generally don't. I'm no performer at all by any stretch of imagination. But if I'm asked to invite, like for example, karaoke sessions at home, I sing with my friends all the time. That's a different environment and acceptably, noisy and all this stuff that comes with it. So I'm okay with that. But in this particular example, I'm just double-minded. I don't know how am I going to handle it next time on, but I think I'll have to change my way of singing next time if I'm asked to sing in a public place, such as the one that I just spoke about. That brings me to the last topic of today in this episode. Tennis is the only sport that I can play these days. I used to play cricket in my college days, and in fact represented my college in cricket. But tennis was a game that I played once in a while with a friend when I was in my college days. I still have the old racket that I bought when I was in my undergrad course. These days, I do not have any time. As a professional, you're busy 9 to 5, and then Saturday, Sundays, you've got so many other things to do that you can't be in the ground for the whole day to play cricket. So cricket is almost out of my way. So the only game I play is tennis, and very, very occasionally golf. Now, I look forward to tennis whenever, in the Sunday morning, for example, we play in a suburb next to the suburb I live in. And then I also play occasionally on Tuesdays and Thursdays, also in my same suburb that I live in. So last Sunday, not the one today, this last Sunday, so the organizer of tennis had to find an alternative court because the court that we are supposed to play had some construction work going on. So that's fine. So we went to the other court and started playing there. I had immediately, the problem is that the sun was coming right on the face, and it kind of didn't make me feel good. But anyway, if you're a tennis player, you should be accustomed to all kind of situations such as the sun coming on your face and so on and so forth. So that's okay. So that kind of, and I couldn't play my shots because I couldn't see the balls. Sun was coming right on the faces, as I mentioned. And the other thing was the players I was playing against, there was a constant chatter from the other side of the court, other side of the net. And these both events frustrated me to no end, and I was not being able to play my shots. I'm getting distracted. I'm focusing less on playing the shots, more on this chattering that's going on the other side. I felt very miserable. This is the first time that I felt, what am I doing here? I'm not enjoying tennis. There's some, chattering going on which has nothing to do with tennis. And I just decided, okay, fine, enough is enough. So I left the game well before the time was over. We usually play 2 hours on Sunday morning. And it just didn't feel good. Tennis is a game I enjoy. I look forward to it, as I said, but it made me feel sick, I must admit. I came back home and I started thinking, my wife was telling me, I said, you look very sad. What's wrong with you? I said, I didn't enjoy my tennis at all. And look, I'm no professional tennis player. I have no coaching on tennis. I play for the fun of it. You know, if I play 2 hours, singles or doubles, it rattles my body. I sweat it out, play my shots, come back home and feel good about myself. I don't care about wins or losses, but I do care about playing quality tennis. All these guys I play with are my good friends. I've known them for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. But sometimes you need to make a decision that, okay, is it are you having fun? If you're not having fun, call it quits, find another option. So, you know, it's just a sad end of last weekend. Terrible life, I would say. It's not a good feeling. So I haven't made up my mind whether I'll continue to play there or not. I might change, I might do something different. But I love tennis too much, so I don't think I can live without tennis for too long. It may be a temporary break, but I'll be surely back on court. As I said, I don't care about wins or losses. I want to seriously into it while you're playing the game. So I want to play my shots and go home, you know, after 2 hours of fun. I'm not there to just you know, push the ball across the net. No, I don't want to play that kind of tennis. I want to play well and then be happy about myself that yes, I had good tennis. It doesn't matter what the result was. So that's about today. Next episode, episode 4, which will have a complete autobiographical content, as you know. The whole video series is all about autobiography. It's of an ordinary man, which is myself. It's a lot of things to discuss. And the next episode, I promise, it will be totally autobiographical. But I had to have this episode 2 and 3 to talk about some areas of interest of my concern or interest. I hope you liked it. If you enjoy the contents or engage, or you want to engage in a conversation with me, please do like my channel, share, or you know, subscribe if you like. As I said, this is my part of the story that I want to tell to my friends and family around the world. I'm absolutely enjoying bringing this. This is only the 3rd episode, and I hope I'm getting better at you know, bringing my stories to you. Please feel free to comment and let me know how do you feel, or how do you know, if you have any comments or anything that I spoke about today. Thank you very much. Till we meet again in episode 4. Bye-bye and see you soon.